Welcome as we get started in the ARKHAM Horror, the card game, with the Night of the Zealot campaign. So this is the three-part scenario that comes in the core set. So to get started, we've chosen Roland Banks as our character. He's got a willpower of 3, intellect of 3, combat of 4, and agility not so good at 2. Base health of 9 and a willpower of 5. We've constructed his deck using the recommendations on the back. So go ahead and give that a shuffle. And we will draw 5 cards to get our initial setup. So you've got a weakness, so when you get those in your start hand, we're allowed 1 mulligan, and we get to ignore those. I like having a weapon. Vicious Blow is always good there. Do some extra damage. The first aid kit and hyper awareness. So all in all, not too bad of a starting hand. So we'll just draw 1 card, Unexpected Courage, and this will get shuffled back in. So the story so far to get us going. You and your partners have been investigating strange events taking place in your home city of ARKHAM, Massachusetts. Over the past few weeks, several townspeople have mysteriously gone missing. Recently, their corpses turned up in the woods, savaged and half-eaten. The police and newspapers have stated that wild animals are responsible, but you believe there's something else going on. You're gathered together at the lead investigator's home to discuss these bizarre events. And since I'm solo, I am also the lead investigator. So our agenda, what's going on? It's a late night. You're holed up in your study researching the bloody disappearances that have been taking place in the region. A few hours into your research, you hear the sound of strange chanting coming from your parlor down the hall. At the same time, you hear dirt churning as if something were digging beneath the floor. So not too good. And then we're trapped. As you leap to investigate, the door to your study vanishes before your eyes, leaving behind only solid wall. You're trapped inside your study until you can find another way out. So we start in the study. A well-kept room there. So you've been investigating the strange events occurring in ARKHAM for several days. Your desk is covered in newspaper articles, police reports, and witness accounts. As soon as we enter the location, we'll flip it over. So we've got a shroud of 2, and we're going to get 2 clues per player. The door to your study has vanished. So the game begins. So basically our round sequence starts with the mythos phase, but we skip that during the first round. We jump straight into our investigation phase, which means we get to take 3 actions. Then we follow through with the enemy phase and upkeep phase. And our actions, we get to draw a card or gain a resource, play an event or asset, activate an ability on a card, move to a connecting location, which isn't an option right now, investigate, which is what we'll end up doing, fight or engage, attempt, and then we have some other special abilities there. So for investigating, we have a base of 3. We need a 2. And before things get too started, I'm going to go ahead and put our 45 automatic in play. It's going to cost us 4. It's going to come in with 4 ammo. We can spend an ammo and fight. We get +1 for this attack, and it deals +1 damage. So 4 resources go away. 4 ammo appears in our gun. In our second action, we're going to investigate. I'm going to discard this card to give us +1 on that attempt. So 4, we need a 2. Got our bag with all our tokens in here. So we'll rattle those around. And pick up the skull, which is going to be -X, where X is the number of ghoul enemies at our location. So -0. So we passed, found a clue. Then for our third action, we're just going to risk it. So this is going to be -2. If there's a ghoul enemy at your location, take a damage. So we failed that test. Then we'll move on to the enemy phase. Enemies with the hunter keyword move toward the nearest investigator. We don't have any enemies, so therefore we don't have any with the hunter keyword. And each engaged enemy attacks if able. Once again, no enemies, so we're good there. Upkeep, reset actions, which is flip many cards. If we're in a multiplayer game, we would flip this when we're over, but we're not. Ready all exhausted cards, which we don't have. Each investigator draws one card and gains a resource. So I'll just move my discard pile over here. We'll draw a card, getting a magnifying glass. So fast, so this won't count as an action if we use it. We get +1 while investigating. So that's very good. Then we will gain a resource. Then we check our hand size. We have to discard down to 8 cards. But we only have 4, so we're good there. Now for our first Mythos phase. We'll place a doom on the agenda. So that's 1 of 3 on this. Advance the agenda if the doom threshold is satisfied. Not just yet. Then each investigator draws 1 card from the top of the encounter deck. All right, we found a friend, a ghoul minion. He's got 2 fight, 2 evade, and 2 health. So a humanoid monster ghoul. It's a colossal and nameless blasphemy with glaring red eyes, and it held in bony claws a thing that had been a man, gnawing at the head as a child nibbles at a stick of candy. All right, so we've got an enemy coming at us. See, when it does attack, it's going to do 1 damage and 1 sanity to us, and since it's coming in ready, comes in at steady, finds us, and becomes engaged with us, and not in a good way. So back to our turns. So when we are engaged with an enemy and spend an action to do anything other than fight, evade, or activate a parley or resign ability, each enemy engaged with you makes an attack of opportunity. So we're going to try not to do anything to get hit in the face for free. So he's got 2 health. We're going to go ahead and spend an ammo, give us +1 fight and +1 damage, which will be enough to kill it if we hit it. We are going to be at 5. We need a 2, so feel good with those odds. -2, so we did enough. Going to put 2 damage on it, so it's out of the way for our first action. Our second action is going to be putting in the magnifying glass, giving us +1 while we investigate. So that costs us 1. And with the third action, we are going to go ahead and investigate, taking us up to 4. And actually, that was free. So our first action was fighting. This was free. We still have 2 more actions left. But this is -4. So we failed that. So we will try again. -2. So we passed that time. So we have a base 4. -2 gets us to the 2. So we found our second clue. And with that, we've met our threshold. So flip this card over. The door on the floor. You notice the edges of your newly purchased rug are tattered and mud-stained. Finding this odd, you shift the furniture inside and pull back the rug. To your surprise, you see the door leading out of your study. You slowly turn the knob and the door swings open, revealing your hallway below. You jump through the doorway, landing on your feet on the soft dirt. The door to the study slams shut above you. The smelling of burning wood fills the narrow hall, intermingled with the scent of rot and decay. Put into play the set-aside hallway, cellar, attic, and parlor. So we've got the hallway, cellar, attic, and parlor. Discard each enemy in the study, which we don't have. Place each investigator in the hallway. So we are moving over to the hallway here. So a moment of panic and disorientation strikes you as you land upon the floor of the hallway. The world spins as if turned on its head. So shroud of 1, no clues coming in. The walls of your house are splattered with mud, and your hardwood floor is gone, replaced with a dirt path. And this is going to allow us to go to 3 different places. which will correspond with these three places. So the attic, the smell of rotten meat assaults your nostrils as you approach the attic stairs. The cellar, stairs leading down to your cellar are slick, and they glisten with a thin layer of ice. Then the parlor. The entrance to the parlor is blocked by a darkly glowing, unfathomable barrier. You cannot move into the parlor. All right, remove the study from the game. So then on to Act 2. A glowing barrier blocks the path to your parlor. Yep. So move toward it. Intense heat forces you to back away. Picking up a handful of dirt, you toss it at the barrier and watch it in horror as the dirt incinerates. Perhaps there's something in the cellar or attic that can help. So we've got an objective. When the round ends, investigators in the hallway may, as a group, spend the requisite number of clues to advance. So we're in the hallway. We can get to the attic and cellar, and the parlor is currently off limits. All our actions are taken up. So enemy phase, we don't have any worry about. Upkeep, we'll draw a card, getting a machete. Gather a resource. Place a doom, and draw a bad card. Ancient Evils. Revelation, place a doom on the current agenda. This effect can cause the current agenda to advance, and it will. So we'll place a doom here, which is going to trigger. All right, your house, let's see, a lapse in time. Your house continues to change before your very eyes. The walls have decayed, and the ground in many rooms have turned to dirt. This is almost as if you have been transported somewhere else entirely, although every now and again you recognize elements of your former home. The lead investigator must decide to either discard a card at random or take 2 horror. Well, we've only got 5, so I don't want to take 2. Well, randomize our cards here. And get rid of 1. We are going to lose Unexpected Courage. Rise of the Ghouls. The floor beneath you is giving way, and you see a vast network of tunnels twisting into the darkness below. Shapes and silhouettes of strange creatures move swiftly through the tunnels, trying to find a way up. You probably don't want to be here when they do. Good call. So 7 on that will advance. And now we've got 3 actions. So our hands are full. We have 2 items there. We can go to the cellar or the attic. So action 1, we're going to move into the attic. So we've got 1 shroud. 2 clues are coming in. Forced, after you enter the attic, take a horror. The bloody carcass. A malformed beast swings from a meat hook chained to the ceiling. Blood drains slowly from the carcass, dripping into a small barrel. I don't remember putting that there. No wonder I took a horror. Okay. Now, second action, we're going to go ahead and investigate. We've got 4 on a value of 1. That's an auto fail. And for our third action, -1. So we get 1 clue out of this. No enemies to deal with. So upkeep, drawing a card, finding a knife, getting a resource. Then on to the mythos phase. Found a swarm of rats. So hunter, fight of 1, evade of 3, and a health of 1. Horde of cruel rats skitters forth in an undulating wave of claws, teeth, and mottled fur. So they're going to come in and engage us. So we're going to choose not to shoot them. We'll just step on them. So base attack of 4 to their 1. a -2, so that's enough. So they are defeated. That was action 1. Action 2, we're going to investigate. So 4 on 1, so -3. That does get us a 1. So we've got 2 clues there. And our third action, so this goes back to our movement. This can only go back to the hallway, so we can't go from the attic straight to the cellar. So even though I'd like to dig a hole just to go straight there, we move back into the hallway and end our turn. No enemies to mess with us. So we will draw a card, getting some perception, and gain a resource. Put a doom up here and draw a card. Dissonant voices. Put this into play in your threat area. You cannot play assets or events. The end of the round, discard this card. All right. So we're not playing cards. Fortunately, we've got 2 assets already in play. So then we are going to move into the cellar. And I guess back up here, I should explain, it does have a victory point here. We'll get that at the end of the game if we've taken all the clues off of it. But into the cellar we go. We've got a thin layer of ice. All right, a shroud value of 4. That's pretty high for us. 2 clues. After you enter the cellar, take a damage. So assume we slipped and fell down there. Your cellar seems to have been replaced with an underground network of icy tunnels and caverns. The cold chills you to the core. Another victory point if we can take all the clues off of this. So action 1, we moved. Action 2, we're going to do a test. Our base number is 4 on 4. So we're going to use perception to take us up to 6. We can have a max of 1 perception committed to this test, and if successful, we'll draw a card. So 6, looking for 4. So -1, we succeeded. So we gain 1 clue. And we'll get to draw a card, which is another knife. And it would be nice to get this off for the extra victory point. But 4 on 4, knowing what's in our bag, and this is what we've got in our hand, I just don't see that happening. So we're just going to go ahead and move back to the hallway. No enemies in play to deal with. We're going to draw a card, working a hunch event card. Get a resource. End of the round, 2 things are happening. We're getting rid of this card, and this is going to trigger. So we're going to lose our 3 clues. We got breaking the barrier. Using the barrel from the attic, you carry ice and snow from the cellar and hurl it at the barrier. The barrier sparks and shudders as it consumes the ice, then hisses and fades out of existence. The barrier blocking the passage into the parlor has vanished. Reveal the parlor. All right, so we can see in our parlor now. So it gives us a resign. This is too much for me. You ran out of the front door, fleeing in panic. Or while Lita Chandler is not controlled by a player, she gains parley, test of 4. If you succeed, take control of Lita. So you've got a shroud of 2, no clues coming in. I guess we'll find out who Lita is. She will be coming into play right now. So an asset ally with 3 health and 3 sanity. While you control Lita, she gains each investigator at your location gets +1 combat. And when an investigator at your location successfully attacks a monster enemy, that investigator deals +1 damage. All right. We want her on our team. Then we spawn the set-aside Ghoul Priest in the hallway, which is where we are, of course. So Ghoul Priest comes engaged to us now. 4 attack, 4 fleeing, 5 health. Hunter, retaliate. That means if we attack it and we do not succeed, it's going to hit us back. So a figure in red robes wearing a bone mask, it gibbers and snarls before leaping to attack. So that ends that. So what have you done? A woman with a torch stands in your parlor, a glimmer of hatred in her eyes. What have you done to my barrier? She screams furious. Before you can answer, a ghastly wail sounds behind you, and a creature wearing robes and a deer skull mask tears through the wall, advancing towards you. Objective, if the ghoul priest is defeated, advance. So we got to beat the ghoul priest up here. And all this stuff triggered at the end of our turn. So that means we're into the mythos phase. We'll put that up there. Find some grasping hands, revelation. Test our agility. We need a 3. We're starting with a 2. For each point you fail by, take a damage. So decaying hands rise up from below and grasp and claw at your ankles. All right, we got nothing to boost our agility, so we're in trouble there. Come on, +1. All right, we get a -2 if there's a goal in our space, and there is, so we're down to a 0, needed a 3. For each point you fail by, take a damage. So 4 damage on us. It is now our 3 actions. We'd like to go over here and make a friend. But if we move, we're going to take 2 damage and 2 horror. 6 and 3, that's not good, because then if we don't kill it and it attacks, we're going to be driven crazy. Evading, that's not an option. It's got a 4, and we only have 2 on that. And she did seem hostile yelling at us. So I guess we'll just stay here and shoot at the ghoul priest. We've got 3 shots and 3 bullets. So, first shot, needing a 4. We are 5, so we're going to help with that. For our first shot, well, we'll just take us up to a 6. I want to keep the machete in case things go terribly wrong. So that takes us up to a 6. Auto fail. Oh, that's not good. It's going to retaliate. And I believe we just lost. We're going to play this out. Take another shot at the thing. -2. So we're going to do 2 damage to it. And for our third and final action, we'll shoot it again. -2. Doing 2 more damage to it. So 4 out of 5 health on it. It is now going to attack us, putting us up to 8 out of 9 damage, but 5 out of 5 sanity. So them's the breaks. We went crazy. So we did not reach a resolution. So if no resolution was reached, you barely managed to escape your house with your lives. The woman from your parlor follows you out of the front door, slamming it behind her. You fools, see what you have done? She pushes a chair in front of the door, lodging it beneath the doorknob. We must get out of here. Come with me. I will tell you what I know. We are the only ones who can stop the threat that lurks beneath from being unleashed throughout the city. You're in no state to argue. Nodding, you follow the woman as she runs from your front porch out into the raining street towards Rivertown. In our campaign log, we're going to record or remember our house is still standing, which is kind of good because that's where all our games are. Your campaign log, record that the ghoul priest is still alive. That seems bad. The lead investigator earns the Lead a Chandler card and may include it in his or her deck. This card does not count towards the investigator's deck size. So while she's mad at us, she is willing to join us. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display. Remember to add eligible locations in the victory display. So we got this one. So we've got 1 point. We still had a clue on that one. So just 1 XP. Then each investigator earns 2 bonus experience as he or she gains insight into the hidden world of the mythos. All right. So since we went down from horror, what that does is we get a mental trauma, which means we start the next adventure with 1 horror on our card already. So we have 3 XP to spend. So looking at our deck building options, we can go to our Guardian, Seeker, and Neutral cards. And with XP, every XP we spend gets us a first level, or basically we've got 3 points to get additional pips with. So the shotgun takes 4, definitely can't get it. We could get a beat cop or a police badge or an event card here. So place 3 ammo tokens on a firearm asset. That's kind of reliant on if we get a firearm. A police badge, we get +1 willpower. While investigator at your location is taking her turn, discard the badge. We get 2 additional actions. So that seems pretty good. And the beat cop, we get +1 fight. We can exhaust him and deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. I believe this is an upgrade. I think we've got a beat cop in here already. Yep, so if we took that card, we'd get rid of this one and bring him in play. So you can see he's got an additional skill for us and a little bit healthier. The shotgun we can't afford. These are the 5 other cards I took out. So we've got an upgraded magnifying glass. So that adds this ability here. If there are no clues on your location, return magnifying glass to her hand. Here, when an elite enemy spawns at your location, discard that enemy. Or an encyclopedia. Choose investigator at your location. That investigator gets +2 skill of your choice until the end of the phase. So that seems pretty good, except it's another hand item. Then we're into our basic cards. So we get a bulletproof vest. It's going to give us 4 health. Or an elder sign that's going to give us 4 sanity. And I feel like with our 3 XP and the fact that we already have a mental trauma, that's the direction we're headed. Yep, I'm going to put one of these in there, which means I need to take out a card. Let's see what I want to remove. I'm definitely keeping those. See what I got in my discard pile. Everything seems so good. I think I'm going to get rid of one of our emergency cash cards. Put in our Elder Sign Amulet. And with that, we are done with part 1, The Gathering. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough, so please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. I'll be back next time for part 2, The Midnight Masks.